بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلاة السلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Our visit today has two really important surahs in it, Surah Al-Mu'minun and Surah Al-Nur. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قد أفلح المؤمنون قد أفلح المؤمنون الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون. So we've talked about a grocery list before of things that we need to beautify our hearts. And really, here we are going to have clarity. Clarity. If we are believers, inshallah, we are all here together believers, then here is the way to success and happiness. قد أفلح حي على الفلاح. قد أفلح المؤمنون. How do we reach that state? First, and I'm right in the beginning of the surah. الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون. Those who, in their prayers, they are خاشعون is mindful. It is presence. To be present in the prayer. Let's see what our translators have for it today. Those who have humbleness in their prayer. Those who are humble. So all of the translators agree here that khashi'un is humbleness. A humble intent. I think that our modern words of mindfulness and presence might also give us a picture of what we're looking for there. That you're standing on the prayer, humbly knowing who is God. And this by itself beautifies our heart. الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون والذين هم عن اللغو معرضون. Those who keep themselves away from, here are the different translations of that, vain things, vain conversation, vain talk, ill speech, and anything that is vain and frivolous. Allah. I feel like if we could take this, just the single piece of advice, and put it in a bottle and sell it so that all you had to do was like rub it on your cheeks or something, we would solve 80% of the problems of humanity today. The believer is the one who keeps herself away from laghu. Laghu is this excess talk, vain. It's talk that is chit-chat and wasting time and talking about people, and it's not relationship building talk. That's something beautiful, but just this, when you sit there with that kind of talk, you have an empty feeling. You have an feeling of emptiness. And mu'ridun is like this part of it which is vain or vanity or showing off. So sometimes we're in conversations and we are literally just there because we want to show off to people the things that are going on with us. And then I did this. Oh, and my son, he got 9 3/4 on his exam. Oh, really? Oh, mashallah, that's so good. Mine got 10. And that kind of comparative conversation that is not healthy. So if we want to have a beautiful heart, we want to stay away from this kind of wasteful, empty talk. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ. Those who do their zakah, they pay their zakah. Some translators say this is also about sadaqah, that they are, because they're active, they fa'ilun. So they're observant of zakah. They make sure to pay zakah. They calculate, they know what they have, they know what they owe, they pay zakah. And then there are those, and then of course on top of zakah is sadaqah. الَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ. We're active in deeds of charity. This is how we beautify our hearts, beautify our hearts, beautify our hearts. Giving and charity, giving and charity. Giving and giving and giving. It's a longer list though. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ. Those who guard their private parts إِلَّا عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ غَيْرُ مَلُومِينَ, except for with their spouses. So this is also very important because we live in a time where we are surrounded by lack of virtue. We are surrounded by that which pulls us into a place where we are no longer protecting our sexual selves, if you will. And so this verse is actually really important for today because Islam is a religion with one thing on the table, and it's a very singular thing. And we're called upon to understand that sin in this area affects the heart. And so there's all kinds of sin in this area. It's Ramadan, so maybe we won't go through that laundry list. But I think you know that laundry list. I don't need to teach it to you. So what's important in the washing of the heart is just to take a moment and say, I want to make sure that I am protecting myself sexually, modestly, within this area of virtue. And it goes on, فَمَنِ ابْتَغَى وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ. Who seek or who crave or desire beyond that, they are the sinners, they are the transgressors. So we have one outlet, which is marriage. And marriage is a responsibility. It's a building a family. It's not just a weekend of fun or a month of fun or whatever. It's a building a family, and takes thinking and thought. And we're to think about all part of that life. The family we're marrying into, the children that we will, inshallah, eventually have. Growing old together. Having rahmah between one another. All of this. And then it goes on. Another one now. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِأَمَانَاتِهِمْ وَعَهْدِهِمْ رَاعُونَ. And those, how do we get, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ? How do we get that beautiful area of our heart? Those who, with true sincerity and trying, are looking after, are shepherds of, are observing, are taking care of, their trusts and covenants and promises. So this is financial, this is property, this is promises, these is contracts that we make. We have to be very carefully following up on these and doing our best to fulfill our contract areas. May Allah forgive us for when we fall short, Ya Rab. Ya Rab. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَوَاتِهِمْ يُحَافِظُونَ. And those who are consistent, they take care of, they protect their prayers. They guard them. They maintain them. It's not a day on and a day off and a day on and a day off. No. They're really focused on their prayer. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَوَاتِهِمْ يُحَافِظُونَ. These are the people who find falah. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. MashaAllah, my sister-in-law, Ansay Sosan Imadi, God bless her, and sent her full health and grace. She wrote a program when we were still living together in Syria. We were together. We were partners in crime in all things. Good crime, though. And she wrote this incredible program called Falah. And I'm really a good sounding board. Like, you can come to me with your creative ideas and I can help you hone them and tone them. And I'm also a very practical, pragmatic person. I'm really good at taking an idea and turning it into a practical event or making it happen, I guess. And so I've been blessed in the past, 2 years ago, I was blessed to be able to teach her program through Ribaat. And I'm really excited because I'm going to teach it again this summer. And it's all about how to reach falah. And I just am overwhelmed by the first verse. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. And mashallah, I was just talking to her the other day. And since I taught it 2 years ago, my sister-in-law, Ansa, who is incredibly creative and always coming up with new things, has expanded it and added new modules to it and new pieces to it. So really exciting there. But I'm going to be teaching a full class, a summer intensive class in Falah. And you can register starting May 17th, I think. May 17th. Okay, back to our list of things. الذين هم على صلواتهم يحافظون, which is who consistently observe their prayers. And then أولئك هم الوارثون. They are the ones who inherit. Think about that. Think about if when you inherit something, this money comes to you, this wealth comes to you what did you do to earn that money? You were simply part of the family. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here, أولئك هم الوارثون. قد أفلح المؤمنون. The people that are so successful and happy, what do they get? أولئك هم الوارثون الذين يرثون الفردوس هم فيها خالدون. These are the people who are the inheritors. Inheritors of what? And those who inherit Firdaus, the beautiful highest place of Jannah. Hum fiha khalidun, and they will be there forever. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. These first 11 verses, they really, not only do they tell us how to beautify our heart, they tell us why to beautify our heart. And in the path of saying, okay, wait, I want to be of the muflihun. How do I become of the muflihun? You can join me in the class this summer. Okay, so half of the class was spent in Al-Mu'minun. I would like to go now to Surah An-Nur, even though there's so much more in Surah Al-Mu'minun that we can benefit from. I'm yawning, excuse me. I'm sleepy and tired today. But now we will go to Surah An-Nur, which also has so much in it that we really need to, it just starts out strongly warning us against sin and the punishment for sin. It's very plain and clear. Do this is what's going to happen. Specifically about Zani wa Zaniya, the one who is the adulterer or the adulteress. Because, and subhanAllah, how these verses are so important today when this illness of the heart, illness of life, this lifestyle illness has become so prevalent. Ya Allah, see, everywhere we go, it's prevalent. Everywhere we go, it's prevalent. May Allah protect our young people. Ya Rab, Ameen, Ameen. And then, of course, there's more here, but I want to bring us to the famous verse. Ayat An-Nur, which is verse 35. I can't stop yawning. I got a little bit less sleep last night. I guess that's why my body's like, hello, nap time. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in verse 35, something so beautiful. Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. مثل نوره كمشكاة فيها مصباح المصباح في زجاجة الزجاجة كأنها كوكب دري يوقد من شجرة مباركة زيتونة لا شرقية ولا غربية يكاد زيتها يضيء ولو لم تمسسه نار نور على نور يهدي الله لنوره من يشاء ويضرب الله الأمثال للناس والله بكل شيء عليم. Ya Allah. Oh, this is the verse of light. I'm going to read it in English. One of the translations. God is the light of the heavens and the earth. The similitude of his light is as a niche wherein is a lamp. The lamp is in glass. The glass is as it were a shining star, kindled from a blessed tree, an olive neither of the east nor of the west, whose oil would almost glow forth of itself, though no fire has touched it. Light upon light, Allah guideth unto his light whom he will, and Allah speaketh to mankind or humankind in allegories, for Allah is knower of all things. Whew. Allah is the light. We need to access the light. We need to bring light into our hearts. Yesterday in the Badr thing for Celebrate Mercy, I also mentioned this in Halaqah recently, I have a door over here to my right, that's why I'm looking this way. If this room was perfectly dark, which it is not because I have my windows, okay? But if it was dark and I opened the door, the light from outside would come in because, ya jama'ah, light. Sorry, darkness does not enter into light, but light enters into darkness. Ya Allah. Just pure physics reminds us of the beauty and necessity of light. And God is indeed the light of the heavens and the earth. Ya Allah. How do we hold on to that light? Actually, the next verse begins to tell us how we hold on to it. في بيوت أذن الله أن ترفع يذكر فيها اسمه يسبح له فيها بالغدو والآصال. The guided people worship Allah in the houses that Allah has permitted to be raised up and where his name is recounted and his purity is pronounced in the morning and in the evening. Okay. So, do we want to access the light? Then be of people who in your homes, in your offices, where do you spend time? Raise the voice to dhikr. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Raise your voice to the subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah. And this connection in dhikr will help you connect to Allah. And then a warning. All this is about this heart. The warning is رِجَالٌ لَا تُلْهِيهِمْ تِجَارَةٌ وَلَا بَيْعٌ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة يخافون يوما تتقلب فيه القلوب والأبصار. It says men. So we're talking about the light and how to hold on to it, being a person of dhikr. Men who neither merchandise nor sale. And let me see. By the men whom no trade or sale makes neglectful of the remembrance of Allah. So working in business should not make us forget Allah. Are you selling clothing? Are you selling car parts? Are you in a service industry? None of this should make us be of those who forget Allah. So whenever you're needed on this earth to stand up and do what is necessary, you have that connection. رجال لا تلهيهم تجارة ولا بيع عن ذكر الله. Be careful. Don't let sales, buying, purchasing, dunya, separate you from the remembrance of Allah. Now, of course, buying books from daybreak is okay. Because they're all going to help you remember Allah, inshallah. وإقام الصلاة, and we also don't want to be separated in our business from standing up in prayer and giving zakat. يخافون يوما تتقلب فيه القلوب والأبصار. Being conscious of a day when our hearts and our eyes will be overturned or transformed into something wholly new, completely new. So in the beautification of our hearts, it's really interesting that the last part of this verse says, يخافون, we want to be afraid of a day, يوما تتقلب فيه القلوب والأبصار, a day in which the hearts and the eyes will be overturned or transformed into something new. But what we want to just make sure of, that our heart is always in a state of dhikr. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha. Always in a state of dhikr. Why? So that our hearts are not transformed, that we're in prayer, we're in zakah, we're giving our charity, we're doing our prayers, our extra sadaqah. And we do our farad and we pay zakat. And we do our sunnah and we pay sadaqah. Ya Rabb, and we turn to you and we say, Ya Allah, la ilaha illa ant, la ilaha illallah, subhanallah, alhamdulillah. And we beg you to keep our hearts firm on the straight path. Firm on the straight path. I didn't skip it. I thought I skipped for a minute the one that says for buyutin adin Allah and turfa. We did that one about the homes that have. Has your home been given permission to have raised the glorification of God in it? Normally this is referring to the masjid, but have you brought dhikr into your home? في بيوت أذن الله أن ترفع ويذكر فيها اسمه يسبح له فيها بالغدو والآصال. All right. I want you to focus on Ayat an-Nur and the ways of the believers. If you go to verse 54, we can add just a couple of things here. قل أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول فإن تولوا فإنما عليه ما حمل وعليكم ما حملتم وإن تطيعوه تهتدوا وما على رسول إلا بلاغ المبين. This is 54. This is actually really quite important for the heart that you're struggling with. Are you struggling with your heart right now? You're coming on because you're like, I want to have a beautiful heart, but I don't think it's working. I'm not feeling anything. God says here, obey Allah and His Messenger, but if you turn away, then on the messenger lies the responsibility of what he is burdened with. And on you lies the responsibility of what you're burdened with. And here's the sentence I want you to really soak in. If you obey him, you will go or get or find the right path. So don't say to yourself, oh, I'm struggling with Ramadan. I'm not good enough. I'm just going to quit fasting. I'm horrible. No. You fake it till you make it. You fast until Allah opens your heart. Don't say, oh, I try to pray and I keep making mistakes. What's wrong with me? You pray until Allah opens your heart, until Allah makes it ready. You bring to Allah. Yesterday I saw a little video of Ansa Samira. Somebody sent me a video that someone made online. And they interviewed her doctor at the end of her life. The person was her doctor. And she was talking about herself, and she was saying how she was not mutahajjab, that means she didn't wear hijab, And she was not really interested in it, but she was getting older and she knew what was fard. And so she said to Auntie Samira, please make dua for me that I can go on Hajj. So when I get back from Hajj, I'll wear hijab. And she said, Auntie Samira said to her, how about go to the greatest lover in what pleases him? Wow. And so this lady, she said, I was blown away by this. And I put on hijab right away and my family was all shocked. And then she walked the path continuous. Then she furthered that path. Obviously, it's not just hijab, it's all that goes with that. But then she went further on that path. But I listened to, I didn't know this story because it's a new one. And I've been out of Syria for so long. But, thinking about Auntie Samira, she was always wanting to do things fast and quickly. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, وَإِن تُطِيعُوهُ تَهْتَدُوا. If you obey God, you will find guidance. So if you're struggling with your heart, obey God. What are the things Allah wants us to obey Him in? Fasting, prayer. They're limited. They're not a lot. They're really not that many. Obey Allah in the things He asks you in. And then find your heart guided and open to the beauty of the connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Allah, Ya Allah. And then of course, Surah An-Nur wraps it up for us, considering we were just talking about the believers. If you go to verse 63, it was, no, sorry, 62. 62, I don't have my glasses on. إنما المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله وإذا كانوا معه على أمر جامع لم يذهبوا حتى يستأذنوا. In English, the believers are only those who believe in Allah and His Messenger, and who, when they are with Him for a collective matter, so they're hanging around the Prophet, look at this heart, and do not leave unless they seek His permission. Surely, it continues, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَأْذِنُونَكَ أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. Those who seek your permission are the ones who believe in Allah and His Messenger. Being with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Being with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The way we act with Rasulullah indicates our level of belief. So if they seek permission, فَإِذَا اسْتَأْذَنُوكَ لِبَعْضِ شَأْنِهِمْ فَأْذَنَ لِمَنْ شِئْتَ مِنْهُمْ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لَهُمُ اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. So if they have some business and they take your permission, let them go. Let them go take care of their business. And ask Allah to forgive them, for Allah is the most forgiving, most merciful. This verse blows my mind because I'm just thinking, first of all, about the pleasure and benefit and, oh my gosh, I don't want either one of those words, the blessing and honor of being around the Prophet ﷺ. And then imagine having to go somewhere else and you can't just ignore it. Like, just ignore it. Forget about it. If you can, just forget about it. Nothing is as important as sitting in front of the Prophet ﷺ. Don't just walk away. Don't think, oh, I got to go to the store now. Oh, I got to get up and just stay there. And if you're in a jalsa of dhikr, you're in a place that you are coming closer to Allah, coming closer to the Prophet, don't just get up and randomly go to something else. Stay focused where you are. It will make a real difference in your heart. May Allah teach us all and help us all to do that. I have a really exciting announcement for you today, which is we have someone who is matching donations today, all the way up till 7:30. We have a lovely, amazing, one of our wonderful sisters and her very supportive husband. I'm so grateful for this. Now, I'm so grateful for our Rabata Muslim women who donate and give donor matches, and we have a number of them. They're amazing. But this amazing couple called us up and said, we want to do a donor match. And when a husband jumps on this boat, I'm just like, Alhamdulillah. Because we want, these are the families we want. We want this family that is supporting his wife, his daughters, his mother, his sisters, and walking in the footsteps of our early companions in this way. We all together want to become people of dhikr. And while I really believe that women hold the keys to cultural change, we can't live this life in this society in a good way without working and standing and walking side by side with men. So we're really grateful to our Rabata husband. So thank you to our Rabata husband for getting on board with this amazing match. And we are literally going to be able to go all the way up till 7:30, no matter what the donations are. So if you've been thinking to yourself, hey, I was thinking I want to give $500 to Rabata. If you give that $500 right now, it's going to become $1,000. If you are thinking, I'm going to give, but I haven't gotten around to it, give your $20 now, and it's going to be $40. If you were thinking, gosh, maybe I'll give $1,000 to Rabata, give that $1,000 now, and it'll become $2. Ya Rab, all the way up till 7:30 when the match ends. So, mashallah, mashallah, mashallah. And really, we want to pray for all of our donor match folks because they've all been incredibly generous. Exciting stuff. You can make a match, make it double. And as you do that, I want you to remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this month is doubling everything for you. Quadrupling, sevenupling, 700upling all of your deeds. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really, really bless you with good deeds. And I want you to really know that every deed you do, your prayers tonight, your sadaqah, your fasting, all the good deeds, everything you do in Ramadan is multiplied just because it's Ramadan. That's one of the reasons I really get excited about the donor matches, because I feel like it's a practical life example of how it feels to get double. And we should extrapolate that to our spiritual lives and know that, hey, tell yourself, when you get up to pray Taraweeh tonight, say, wow, mashallah, it's like I prayed 40. And actually in Ramadan, like that's the feeling because we know what it feels like. But actually in Ramadan, it's more than that. That 20 is maybe 200 or maybe 1,400 rewards, as though you prayed 1,400 rak'ahs. Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah. Allah is very generous with us. And so anyway, those donor matches make me feel like we understand the psychology. We all feel encouraged. So that's what Ramadan is. It's great encouragement to jump out there and do stuff. If you have qada to make up, and I know some of you have qada to make up, do it now. Because as you're making them up, you're getting extra reward for that qada. It's better to do it in Ramadan if you can. And put that extra effort in. And we still have, alhamdulillah, 12 days left of this beautiful month. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us in it. And give us the healing that we need. Inshallah. If you're following my Facebook, they are on Facebook and Instagram posts about Syria that I've been posting. I feel like that's part of my own gift that Allah is giving me in this Ramadan. I'm healing a little bit. I couldn't even talk about my years in Sham because of how much I longed to be there. And now the grief is still there. I miss it, but I'm able to talk about it. So may Allah make this a healing month for every one of us. And I hope you enjoy my little memories that I'm pulling out from my head and trying to find pictures for. It's kind of a little project. Inshallah, at least at the end of Ramadan, I'm intending. Inshallah. Yes, thank you. Yes, Nishat, thank you very much. Qada prayers, any things that you miss and you need to make them up. I apologize. I sometimes do that. Thank you. All right, everyone. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for being with me today. And thank you for helping us get those donor matches and all those extra. Oh, yeah. Did you like today's story, Sakina? It's a true story. Like, that is so true. And it was so funny. And I mean, I can tell it to you orally. Yeah, because the reason I wrote gobbledygook is because I had no idea what he said. Like, I used to drive by every single day. I'm going a little bit over time, but just for the fun of it. I used to drive by every single day from this little bakery, okay? And and I really, really wanted to buy bread from there, but my Arabic was really, really bad still. We just moved there. was very weak, my Arabic. And I didn't know how. Do you buy it by the kilo? Do you buy it by the piece? Like, do I go and do I say, I want 4 pieces, or do I say I want a kilo? Like, I didn't know how to do it. And so I just felt shy, I guess. And maybe it was my ego too. I don't know, probably a little bit of ego there. And so that day that I was driving by and I saw a woman walk up, just like I wrote, I was like, oh my God, this is my opportunity. And so I was driving my car and I was like, I quickly pulled over to the side, threw the car in park and jumped. I was actually standard shift, so pulled up the emergency brake, jumped out of the car and ran, because these places are packed. There's so many people that stand in line. And if I missed getting behind her, I was afraid that I would miss the opportunity to know how to say it. And also because she was a woman, I could get really close to her. So as her turn came up, I got closer and closer and closer to her. I was practically touching her. I was so close. And I was leaning in to listen to what she asked for in the bread, and I didn't understand a word. And she handed him a bill, like of some amount of money. She handed to him. And he answered, blah, 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 and he said, oh, blah, and he gave her a normal amount of bread. And I was, oh my God, what am I going to do? I don't know. I had 100 Syrian pounds, I think, maybe I had more. I think it was only 100. And I didn't know what to do. And as I wrote there, so I just tried to repeat whatever she said. Wah, 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 wah. And the guy, and I said, hey, and handed him the money. And the hilarious thing to me is he actually gave me change. Like, he didn't just take it all. Like, he actually gave me some change and then started handing me bread. I mean, handing me stacks after stacks after stacks after stacks after stacks after stacks after stacks of bread. And I don't know, did he think I worked at an orphanage? Did he think I worked at a school? Did he think, what am I getting all this bread for? I don't know. But yes, and as I wrote, I had to waddle with it to the car. And then when I put it in the seat next to me, it was literally as tall as a person. It could have looked out of the windshield if it had eyes. That's a fun story. And it's especially fun for me because it reminds me of my Tajweed class I used to go to at 6 a.m., which is, maybe I should talk about the Tajweed class tomorrow morning. I won't have any pictures, but maybe I can figure out what I can do. Inshallah. I guess I could put a picture of one of my Qur'ans. All right. Thank you, my lovelies. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Enjoy your bread at iftar. And remember, if you want to order something from Daybreak today, we'll send you a special Rabata chocolate as a free gift. Have a lovely day. And remember the donor match. Oh my goodness. What did I do with all that bread, Sarah? As I wrote, go read the thing, because I passed it around. Like, I went from house to house giving people bread. And I was just like, oh, I thought you'd like some bread. I didn't tell them that whole crazy story until later. All right, yalla. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. MashaAllah.